welcome to the 301st edition of Preps Today with John Millea, the beginning of our next 300 shows, or our next 20 shows. We'll see. We'll see how things work out for John in retirement. But it's been great doing the show with John for so long. We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio. This is part of TalkNorth.com. You should know the lineup by now, but I said it to Dawn Mitchell the other day. She's like, oh, my God, that's an incredible lineup. John Millea on Preps, Russo and LaPanta on the Wild, Kevin Gorg on hockey, the Bar Down Beauties on hockey, former Vikings general manager Jeff Diamond on the Vikings, John Krasinski and myself on the Viking Update Show, John Krasinski on the Wolves, Mike Grimm on the Gophers, Randy Shaver on high school football, which you can also watch on YouTube. I always forget. Roy Smalley, Lavelle Neal, myself on baseball. Dawn Mitchell, a show which highlights women journalists, women athletes, women's sports, but also gets into a lot of cool men's stuff because we've covered the Vikings and outdoor content. Check it all out at TalkNorth.com. If you like this show or any show at the network, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to do it. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studios. We want to thank our longtime sponsor, Pizza Barn in Princeton. Jody Stay's fine operation. All right, to start off episode 301, let us go to Deer River and Grand Rapids.
Yes, sir, Jim. That is quite a lineup you got there. It's amazing what you've put together here. I'm proud to be part of that.
We did Dawn Mitchell's show. We recorded a future episode of the Dawn Mitchell show yesterday with Amy Hockert from Fox 9 in studio. We're sitting there talking, and I listed off that list, and Dawn was like, oh, my God. It's easy to forget just how good the lineup is. And Amy Hocker's like, I love John Millea. He's such a hero. He does such great work. I mean, and what you do really, some of the stuff we do as sports writers, we might be poking fun at your favorite team or your favorite athlete. You do is kind of so wholesome and so grassroots that people, if they ever access what you're doing, they just love it immediately.
Yeah, that's nice of Amy to say it. I don't know if I've ever met Amy, Jim, but on social media, more than once, she has posted sentiments like that. So that's wonderful to hear. And in my travels, I hear that pretty frequently from people. In fact, I was up at Sauk Center for a volleyball match on Tuesday night, and they have the scorer's table where they've got the person running the scoreboard, the person scoring the match, the PA announcer, and then another table, one row behind them. So that's where I sat for most of the match, just taking notes, shooting pictures. And Sarah, I don't know Sarah's last name. She's the PA announcer for Sauk Center Volleyball. During a timeout, she turned around and got my attention. And she kind of said that same thing. John, I just love what you do. I love your stories. And I said, hey, thanks, Sarah. And then she said, you want a brownie? She had a pan of homemade brownies right there. So I got a compliment and one of the greatest brownies in the world. So thanks to Sarah from Sauk Center. That's just fantastic stuff.
No doubt about it.
But yeah, let's go to Deer River and Grand Rapids. That's where I was over the weekend, Friday and Saturday. And I've talked about both of these previously, but Friday was my first visit to Deer River. I've driven through town many times, going on my travels up in northern Minnesota. But this was a big deal. At a football game, they were celebrating 100 years of high school football in Deer River. This is up in Itasca County, just west of Grand Rapids. They had around 125 former players on the field at halftime, recognized individually. Going back to the 60s, and I think even one guy from the 50s, a 97-year-old, which was really, really neat. In the football game, Deer River beat Mille Lacs 19-8. And this was really a good game. These are really two good teams. One of these is more than likely going to go to state in Class A. They're both in the same section, Section 7. And the theory after Deer River beat Mille Lacs was that they're going to see each other again, probably for the section title. Just really good, hard-nosed football. So I tried to dive into the history of Deer River football in doing my reporting here. It's sketchy. But someone sent me a newspaper article from 1927, shortly after it started, and it talked about there wasn't much equipment. The first year, they didn't have a budget. They were given no money. I think they played, one game and 2 scrimmages. But for helmets, some of the kids back there in the 20s wore their hunting caps backwards. That was their football helmet. They took sections from waste baskets, put them inside their socks for thigh guards, like old time hockey players did. And someone even took a pair of shoes to the local shoemaker to stick some cleats in his shoes. So that's pretty hardcore early football. And it's funny in these days of artificial turf and spread offenses, we don't realize always how tough it is to play football up where it gets cold earlier. This has been a great fall. And I was talking to Brett Shimmick, the Deer River coach, who had invited me after the game, and we were talking about the brand of football. And here's a quote from him: "We've got to ground and pound here. It's been pretty nice this year. Usually it's pretty cold by now, or getting colder by now, so that helps us. If you come out here and play spread, usually in October, that doesn't work, so you got to be able to pound it." And both these teams certainly do that. They both throw the ball a little bit, but it's rugged up north football and fun to watch. And I'll tell you what, I talked about Sarah in Sauk Center handing me a homemade brownie that was just gooey and good. And up in Deer River, I'm walking around the football field. I generally just stay on the field in these, especially the smaller towns. The press boxes aren't very big. Now the one in Deer River is pretty roomy. They have a nice press box. But I'm walking around and three high school girls, and they're juniors from Deer River, come up to me, all smiling, welcoming me to town. Ariana Schenken, I'm going to mispronounce names here, Caitlin Hemphill, and Avery Peck. They walk up to me with a pretzel and cheese on a paper plate and a Diet Mountain Dew. So somebody knows what the old guy from the high school enjoys. So I chatted with them, and they were super friendly. We were talking about, who their rival schools are and just how the season is going and stuff like that. And speaking of that press box in Deer River, I saw something there that I don't think I may have seen once before. I don't have a concrete memory of this. So the bleachers, they have a big set of home bleachers. They are positioned inside the track. They have a nice 8-lane track. The bleachers are inside the track. And then right behind the bleachers, you got 8 lanes of track. And then this, very tall, very good sized wooden press box. But there's a track between them. Any football field to go to, if there's a track, the bleachers are outside the track. But this way, everybody's really close to the action for football. But I may have to go back up there in the spring for a track meet. How do you sit in the bleachers at a track meet and the athletes are running behind you as they come down the home stretch? I don't know if this is if there was some engineering snafu here. I don't know. I'm smiling and shaking my head. It seems like there was a old place in Iowa that I saw one time that was the case. I don't know, but anyway, that was Deer River. Thanks to everybody in Deer River. They got a nice football team. It's a great little town. I enjoyed meeting everybody. That was Friday night, so I spent Friday night in Grand Rapids. I highly recommend the Timberlake Lodge. I've stayed there before. I didn't see Justin Timberlake, and that's a joke. I don't think he has anything to do with it. Very nice accommodations in Grand Rapids. And then up early Saturday morning for Victory Day at Grand Rapids High School, which this is the 10th anniversary. Started in 2014. They missed a COVID year, so it's 11 years ago. And it's really neat. It's just such a great concept. This started with a football coach in Michigan years ago. Basically, the varsity football players from Grand Rapids, they have a morning devoted to special needs individuals of all ages from the area. And everybody's in jerseys. The varsity kids are wearing their black jerseys. All the special needs athletes get a white Thunderhawks jersey, and the kids go through drills with them. There's like 4 stations. They can throw the ball, kick the ball, catch the ball, knock down guys holding pads, run through cones. Really neat stuff. Just cheers everywhere. And then after that, everybody gets to score a touchdown. The offense lines up against the defense. The quarterback's barking out plays. The linebackers calling the defenses. You got the PA guy up in the press box. So one of the white shirts gets to decide, do you want to run the ball or do you want to catch a pass? and it's just like you're on game night. You got the PA, you got the quarterbacks calling the plays, the linebackers barking out the defense, the PA guy's setting it up, and here's the handoff, and he does the play by play, and somebody on every play miraculously gets in the end zone and scores the touchdown. The cheerleaders are cheering, the PA guys screaming, the football players are all surrounding the person who scored. It's just the greatest thing. And Greg Spons, the coach up there, I was there for the very first one in 2014, and I wrote about that, and I basically reposted that story on John's Journal on the high school league website with some photos from this year. So way to go, everybody in Grand Rapids. It's just about the neatest thing ever.
That's great stuff.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Well, let's get to the rest of the show in a second, but tell us about Pizza Barn in Princeton first.
Yeah, always great things going on. A fall staple is back. If you know the Pizza Barn in downtown Princeton, you know Nana's Pumpkin Bars. That is a big thing every autumn. They're back. They're all packaged up. They're in the fridge. Get some of those. And remember, the September pizza of the month is the buffalo chicken mac and cheese. I like chicken. I like mac and cheese. A little buffalo on there. Sounds great. It's a treat. And the famous Pizza Barn food trucks this week here, later in the week, they're going to continue to make appearances. They'll be at the Parker Elementary School Carnival in Elk River on Friday. And then Friday and Saturday at Minnesota's largest pumpkin patch and corn maze in Foley. Also on Saturday at Pickle Fest in Pease. That's Pease. I've never been to Pease, but they have a pickle fest. I can't imagine anything more fun than going to Pease, Minnesota for the pickle fest. Thanks again to our buddy Jody Stay and her crew at the Pizza Barn. They just do wonderful things.
No doubt. Thank you, Jody. Thank you to the Pizza Barn, all the good people who work there. Where do you want to go next?
Yeah, let's go to Sauk Center in Paynesville. That's where I was. Talked about Sauk Center Tuesday night. Earlier in the day, Tuesday afternoon, I was in Paynesville for a cross-country meet, and then back Wednesday morning to Sauk Center High School for a gathering I'll talk about. But yeah, what a great couple of events on Tuesday. This was a 15-team cross-country meet hosted by Paynesville High School at Coronas Hills Golf Course in Paynesville. Tuesday, like just about every day right now, was just fantastic. I took my lawn chair. I walked around the course a little bit, watched kids run. I enjoy watching dogs who come to cross country meets. It's one of the rare sporting events where dogs are welcome, and just really fun, really, really good cross country athletes there. And then, like I said, Tuesday night, I was at Sauk Center High School for volleyball. This was high level volleyball. Sauk Center, the Main Streeters, they're ranked number 6 in Class 2A, and the visiting team, the Knights from West Central area, they're also a top 10 team, ranked 9th in Class A. West Central is going to climb those rankings. They defeated the Main Streeters 3-1. Really hard fought match. Every set was close. The gym was loud and busy, and I wasn't the only person eating brownies. It was just a blast. And this is good volleyball. I mean, Sauk Center, they won a 2A state title 3 years ago. West Central went to the 1A state tournament last year for the first time. So these are good programs with great success. It'd be really fun to see them both at state this year. Good luck to them going down the road. So then again, this was another overnight trip. I'm gonna slap the Americ Inn in Sauk Center on the back. I don't stay at an Americ Inn often. This was really nice. I had a good stay there. And then bright and early Wednesday morning, back at Sauk Center High School for the West Central Conference Student Leadership Gathering. They asked me to speak here, and I was honored to do so. So the members of that conference, the schools are Benson, Bold, which is in Olivia, Melrose, Minnewaska, Montevideo, Morris, West Central area, and Sauk Center. People in the Twin Cities especially don't realize how far flung some of these conferences in greater Minnesota are. Montevideo is an hour and a half away. Benson, West Central, they're more than an hour away. And it's amazing what kids will do, how much time they will spend on buses. So a few of the volleyball players from West Central rode a bus to the match at Sauk Center, more than an hour, got on the bus afterwards to go home, more than an hour, get a little bit of sleep, get up in the morning, go to school, get on a bus, come back to Sauk Center for this leadership gathering. That's in the metro. People like to complain about traffic and construction, but you're not generally not driving that kind of mileage just for a conference event. So good work by everybody there. They told me there were about 180 students from all of those schools at this gathering in the really nice school auditorium at Sauk Center. And I had a PowerPoint, showed a lot of graphics, talked about a lot of things. I talked about things that are kind of important to me in my job and my experiences. I talked about telling our stories, sharing our stories. I talked about inspirational people I've been lucky enough to know and write about. I talked about commitment and taking care of each other. I told stories about and showed photos about things we've talked about on the podcast recently. I talked about Hancock when they played their first home game in 2 years, how it was Dad's night, the team walking 5 blocks to the field, the 2 freshmen, one's a special needs kid, Damon and Landon, how Damon takes care of Landon and how they both got in the game. And it was such a big deal when I was there. I talked about Joe Mauer, the great example Joe sets. I talked about most valuable teammates. So it was a really neat event. I'm really honored that the athletic directors in that conference asked me to be there. And that was really fun. So I'm glad that took place. Speaking of volleyball, I've got a few volleyball items here. Congrats to Albany coach Brian Hines. He recently recorded his 200th career victory. Congrats to Mabel Canton senior Sahara Morgan. She got her 4,000th career assist, which puts her that may put her in the top 10 all time in Minnesota for career assists. I don't know Sahara well. I have talked to her before. I know her dad very well. Her dad and her coach, Alani Morgan, down there at Mabel Canton. He's just a wonderful guy. I know they're having a special year together. This is Sahara's senior year. Congrats to Russell Tyler Ruthden's Avery Schreurs. Picked up her 1,000th career dig. That's a big number. And getting back to football, we're talking here on Thursday morning, Jim. Friday, I'm heading down to Byron for the Bears homecoming game against Holy Family. I did see Byron earlier in the year. They had a really nice win at Benilde St. Margaret's. Looking forward to my first trip to their stadium. I've never been inside their school. I've driven past. It's on the edge of town. It looks fantastic. Everybody tells me they've got just a magnificent stadium there. I know there's turf. This is a big game. Holy Family's undefeated. Byron is 3-1. Should be a good matchup. That's going to be fun. The weather, again, it's a recording. The weather looks fantastic. So let's have more fun.
Yeah, all of a sudden we live in San Diego. It's amazing.
That's right.
Oh man! All right, are you ready to give us your MVT for the week?
Yes, we can wrap it up with this week's most valuable teammate. This weekly award from the high school league. When I was talking to the students up in Sauk Center, up on the big screen in the auditorium, I flashed up there 3 or 4 of these, and I just talked about it. And I always stress, especially to students, this is not a most valuable teammate awards. Certainly, there are a lot of most valuable teammates. That's not what this is. There are a lot of most valuable players. This is not that. This is most valuable teammates. This may be a first for the MVT award. We're honoring twins. Gavin and Landon Baker are juniors. They're twin brothers. They play football at Wabasha Kellogg. They are the ultimate teammates. They're not the biggest, the strongest, or the fastest players on the team, but they get the job done with hustle. They go hard and give everything they have in the spirit of the team. And if a teammate is injured, no one runs out to them faster than these two. They truly are most valuable teammates. Congrats to Gavin and Landon Baker of Wabasha Kellogg.
Great stuff as always, John. Thanks so much. Looking forward to next week's show. Thanks to everyone who's listened to TalkNorth.com and John Millea's Prep Show. We appreciate it. We'll be back with you soon. And we're heading toward our next, I can just say it. Next week will be episode 302. I can't believe we've
there you go.
Passed 300.
And next week will be October, too. How the heck did that happen?
Good Lord. You know, when you're old, time flies.
Oh, man, doesn't it? Tell me about it.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Tim.